day-to-day. I know you're a day-to-day man, but can you think about some days?
Let me take the computer here, because you starting to talk that talk. I got to show you where I am. I love it where I am.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I love it where I am.
I think at this point, it's all but guaranteed that Mike McCarthy will no longer be the Dallas Cowboys head coach at the conclusion of the 2024 season. With people like Deion Sanders already opting out of the Dallas Cowboys circus, that head coaching position is still likely going to be a hot ticket on the market, and rumors for that particular position have already started to heat up, and it includes a huge name that not all Cowboys fans are probably going to like. Let's get right into this, but first, a word from our sponsors. Another week in the books, another week to bet with BetUS, America's favorite sports book, who also happens to be the sponsor of today's episode. The Houston Texans are 8-point favorites going into the game against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. And with BetUS, you can bet on this game and any other NFL game, NBA game, MLB game, or whatever other game you want to bet on in a variety of ways. And for a limited time, you can get a 150% first-time deposit bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits using promo code YouTube150 when signing up. Please be sure to gamble responsibly, and let's get right back into the program. It ain't looking good for Big Mike, y'all. It ain't looking good. He is 100% out of Dallas after this season. He's likely going to have to find a host of brand new fast food restaurants to frequent, as the ones in Frisco are probably going to be losing a little bit of business. With that being said, there are already rumors linking former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick to the Dallas Cowboys. And while Cowboys fans, I know there's a segment of Cowboys fans out there that don't like nothing old. They think that anybody with a little bit of age on them is outdated and they can't work in the NFL. And then I remember that's the same thing y'all said about Derrick Henry. Older head coaches still have a place in this league as long as they're willing to adjust with modern times. That is the big caveat right there. If Bill Belichick is still going to try to come to the Cowboys and run it like the 2000s New England Patriots and run the same type of schemes as the 2000s New England Patriots, then there's a chance that this will not be a successful experiment. And I know a lot of y'all are probably already out because of the way New England looked the last couple of years Bill Belichick was there. But y'all got to remember, man, Bill Belichick managed to get a Patriots team led by Mac Jones to the playoffs the year after Tom Brady left. And I think that in itself was a coaching accomplishment, because Mac Jones is a backup on the Jacksonville Jaguars, y'all. And I don't know if y'all seen that man play recently, but he has no business being the starting quarterback of any playoff team. So I'm just going to put that out there. Bill Belichick, I don't believe the time has passed him up. I do believe that some of that edge that Bill Belichick is famous for, some of that rigidness that he's famous for, I do believe that he's kind of seen the brighter side of life as it pertains to having a young girlfriend and taking quirky Halloween pictures and just having a lot going on in his personal life. Now, by no means am I saying that that's going to keep him from being an excellent football coach. What I am saying is that does make me question whether or not he wants to leave the confines of that peace, essentially, is what he's existing in right now, is peace. Peace and harmony, and young Gok 3000 is what he's existing in. Does he want to leave the confines of that to go into the lion's den that is the Dallas Cowboys? Quite literally, the lion's den, because he's got to deal with guys like Micah Parsons running his mouth all the time and constantly having things to say and wanting to have input on player personnel decisions and thinking that we should always use our first round draft picks on all his buddies from Penn State and all this. I mean, the Cowboys got a lot of stuff that any future head coach would have to deal with. And is Bill Belichick in the type of state of mind where he would want to just really deal with that after getting a taste of what retirement feels like, after getting a taste of what it feels like to be a free man and not have to be in a football complex for 20 hours out the day, looking at film all day, smelling your own crusty, toasty toes? So I just don't know if that's what Bill Belichick want to do. But I do know that outside of Bill Belichick, there are a ton of up-and-coming young whippersnappers that probably do have the energy to deal with the Dallas Cowboys nose and do have something still to prove in their career and may want to still make a name for themselves and really may want to cement themselves in coaching history by being the guy that comes and get the Dallas Cowboys out of the gulag after 30 years of ineptitude. I think that this is still a damn attractive job, especially considering that once the Cowboys execute a simple restructure, which is how their contracts were constructed to do anyways, they're going to have close to about $100 million in cap space next offseason. And even after signing Michael Parsons, they're still going to have buku money. You're going to have a really high draft pick, whoever the next head coach is going to be. And you have some core key guys in place at very, very crucial positions. You have an all-pro quarterback. You have all-pro pass rusher. You have all-pro DB. You have all-pro receiver. At that point, you're just really trying to build your trenches up as a new head coach coming in and kind of impart whatever scheme and mentality and culture and tone you want to impart on this team. Now, Bill Belichick, the one thing that would worry me about him if he did want to take this job is him bringing guys like Josh McDaniels or Matt Patricia with him to Dallas. I just don't necessarily think that's the best move for the Dallas Cowboys. All that whole Mary band worked in New England, without a doubt. They won championships together, y'all. We can't sit there and act like those are just the most negative guys ever to bring in. And in a lot of the case, I think most of us have PTSD from their latest head coaching stints as it pertains to those guys. But remember, it's a whole different ball game being a coordinator versus a head coach. Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, terrible head coaches, really good coordinators. So it's not like I'm sitting here trying to downplay those guys and what they've accomplished in the league, because they are champions. But at the same time, I think that Cowboys fans in general, they're just ready to see this team kind of go into the next generation. They're ready to see this team inject some youth. They're ready to see kind of like a youth movement with this team and the direction it's going. And they want to see a modernized Cowboys. That's what we want to see. And I don't think that Bill Belichick is going to give us something like that. What I do believe, however, is that there are head coaches that could give us a modernized looking Dallas Cowboys. A Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. And if you actually look at the Lions and how been performing this season, the Lions have the #2 scoring offense in the entire NFL. So clearly, Ben Johnson is doing something right over there with the Detroit Lions. Then we have a Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator. Now, some of the heat on him has cooled off a little bit just because Nico Collins being injured has kind of shown some of the warts with that Houston Texans operation, and they haven't been nearly as effective as they were last season. For example, they're only averaging about 22 points per game this season, good for 17th in the league. So as far as making a big splash move, which is what Jerry needs to make right now, he needs to make a splash move that's going to kind of make people buy back in. I don't know as having a guy that's having like a middle of the pack type of offense the previous year is really going to get fans super excited. Although Bobby Slowick is still a good option, and he is missing his #1 receiver, but the Texans do have a few other options over there. He is one of those guys from that Shanahan coaching tree, and I think Cowboys fans overall definitely would love to see any of the young stalwarts from that Shanahan coaching tree in Dallas. We got Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator. If we actually look at team defense, the Lions are #2 in offense. They're #5 in team defense as far as total touchdowns allowed on the entire season. The Lions have only allowed 16 total touchdowns on the entire season. For comparison, the Dallas Cowboys have allowed 30. All right, so you're looking at about half the amount of touchdowns that we've allowed already. So another really good option right there, and I wouldn't be against the Aaron Glenn at all, but I just don't think that his personality, and I just don't think he would fit here. I do not think that Aaron Glenn or someone like Aaron Glenn would fit well with Jerry Jones, and to be quite frank, I don't think Jerry would hire a black head coach. I'm being real, y'all. I'm being real. I don't think he would hire no black head coach, especially no old crusty black head coach like that. That's just keeping it a buck. Brian Flores, he too black. He is too black, and I don't think he's going to be corporate enough to even coach for the Cowboys. So we're not even going to sit here and entertain this one. Liam Cohen, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, is a sleeper name that's been popping up a little bit, but the Buccaneers quietly have a very, very impressive offense this season with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. 27.9 points per game, good for 5th in the entire NFL. Obviously, you're looking at someone like a Liam Cohen. You're definitely going to also be looking at someone like a Cliff Kingsbury. Kellen Moore is another name that you're going to be looking at. A Todd Monken, the Ravens offensive coordinator. I think what you're really looking at is any of these offensive coordinators from these high-powered teams that are running these modernized systems so that the fans can at least enjoy watching Cowboys football games. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Is actually legitimately boring. It is boring to watch Dallas Cowboys football. And I think that is a bigger issue than anything else right now. And I think that's why you're going to see Jerry bring in one of those young hotshot offensive coordinators, someone that's willing to deal with the environment, with that Dallas Cowboys environment. That's why I'm not sure if a Ben Johnson is going to come here, but I think he would be an excellent option. But just overall, Dallas Cowboys head coaching search will be heating up, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a ton of rumors, and we're going to be covering them on the channel because this is pretty much all we have to look for this season now. Is going to see who's getting benched, who's saying stupid stuff in the media, and when will Mike McCarthy get fired, and who our next head coach is going to be. That's pretty much what our season is about, y'all, and how low will our draft pick get. That's what our season is about now, unfortunately, because we still same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.